My name is Gracieli Scremin, but I go by Graci. And I'm a graduate from the advertising program at UT. Proud of that. So I currently live in Florida. I am originally from Brazil, and I've lived in so many places in the US and have had quite a journey since graduating. And I do miss Austin. I do miss, it's just such a great city. Upon graduating, I spent a year as a data analyst in a small company in Austin, Texas. And I so got that industry experience, which was invaluable. And then I moved to academia. I got a position at the University of Tampa as a professor, assistant professor of communication. And I was, I love teaching. I love that, all of that, and it was a small school, it was a private school. And I taught several courses in, from advertising campaigns, research methods, covered a lot of ground, also taught some analytics at the time. I had that experience with Google Analytics and AdWords and all of that. And it was quite at the beginning of the digital. This was even before social media really had made an impact. It was really at the beginning. So I had the opportunity then to teach courses in that. And then afterwards, I really decided I wanted to go back to the industry. It's fulfilling, being an academic and being engaged with ideas and exchanging those ideas in conferences and with students and through research. But I also I like that side of solving problems and maybe more immediate problems, right? And then getting maybe the speed of the churn of input output, make it a little bit more dynamic. And so I decided to become, go back. I went back to Brazil for a number of years as a consultant. Then, life takes its turn. Sometimes it's not just about career development. A lot of times I got married and came back to the US. And then I also continued to work as a consultant. And then I moved to Citi. I started to work as a data analyst and in the finance, because I actually had my bachelor's in finance economics. And so I went back to that space, and I've been doing that and learning a lot, working with big data now. It's just like, Citi is a global entity. So I have had the chance to work with pretty big data sets and develop skills in machine learning. So it's, one of the insights is that I wanted to bring to this is we never really stop learning. And that's maybe the key. When you're a PhD, you learn that. You learn that you always have to continuously learn. And you kind of get a bug for that because you study for so long. I frankly cannot stop. I just always am trying to get a class and trying to learn more. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey. I think one of the valuable things about being a PhD student is practicing the process of thinking through things and learning, again, the learning aspect and the curiosity. And having to do coming up with your own research questions, being an independent thinker and seeing how things connect. So these are extremely valuable skills, right? And that puts us in a very desirable position because we have the ability to be very thorough, kind of really see define a problem and then understand the means through which you start to answering the questions, right, that surround that. So this inquiry mindset that a PhD student acquires through their program is really key. And And then things, they evolve. I think we have to look into really what we love to do, what we are happy doing. I realized without even trying to, it just felt like I just started to do a lot of programming, learning how to, language query in SQL, and then started using Python. It really felt good. It felt like connected to that, process, and realized I want to do more in that. I want to learn more. I want to be part of projects that that I can grow on those skills. And then machine learning is so interesting. Like, how do right? I used to. You asked earlier too. Sorry, before we started, but in one of the questions you had for me was about the classes at UT that I really, value and think that provided me with skills that I took. I think statistics, the courses that I took in statistical methods were very important. And I took a lot of them in sociology. So that's the cool thing about being at UT. You're taking different departments. And I love that. I love that how we could put our program together. So I took a lot of stuff in psychology, in sociology, classes in marketing. So anyway, and that again informed me about what kinds of interests I have, and then continued on in my path of taking classes, ad hoc, like just kind of learning on your own. And through the work that you do, like when you are at a job, see what's out there. If you're interested, if the job is a good fit, if it's not a good fit, move on too. Don't be afraid of taking another step. I think as a PhD, you have showed that you have a lot of grit, right? That is, and so the journey is not linear, and mine certainly wasn't. And it doesn't. I think that it's important to keep that in mind. And things don't go the way you're intending them to go. It doesn't mean they're gonna go downhill and doom and gloom. No, it's okay. And academia sometimes can be there's a lot of pressure. You gotta be, it's not like that for all the time or every person, but there is that kind of back in, if I'm not an academic, I'm a failure or something like that. Like, I need to be doing research and I need to be publishing and all of that. Well, sometimes it fits you and you love it, but sometimes it isn't. And for me, it was a different trajectory. But it took me a while to accept it, I guess. But I feel happier now that I have. And I just wanted to encourage people to, this is part of your journey. It's not the end of it by any means. So just, let yourself evolve with it. I think being an international student is it's challenging. It comes with great things, right? Because by being in a different country, you're already expanding your perspective. Because I was from Brazil, I came to the United States. Already I have to confront the fact that things don't have to necessarily be done the way they were in Brazil. And the education system here is different, the way classes are laid out. And so you're growing, right? But then you think about the next steps, like, do I want to stay in the US? Do I want to perhaps go back home and work there? What are my options? And I think as international students, we have to deal with the visas issue and things like that, which can be quite difficult. And for me, my first job that I had after graduate school, they were gonna sponsor my visa and everything, and it didn't work out. They sponsored it, but then there was a limit, and I wasn't one of the ones picked by the lottery of the visas by the US government. And it's quite frustrating, right? Because as international students, we have all these skills, but then it's like, the paper or something, And then I went to academia. Now, academia is a smoother route, I think, for international students, because they go through a different path for work visas and such. So in the US, that's more of a viable option, at least it was. And I did go back to Brazil. So at one point I was like, I want to go back to my home country and see what's out there, and how I can apply my skills. So that is a good thing, because it gives you more options of where to live. And now with how things have changed with COVID, there's a lot more opportunities for remote work. So that opens a lot of possibilities, a lot more than what I had when I graduated, Take the classes where you're UT, get involved, participate in projects, build that knowledge base. So you can you can speak to that in interviews. And there's so much opportunity from it. I mean, seriously, if you go on LinkedIn or Glassdoor or these sites, job postings, it's insane the amount. So it's it's really the future and it's the present. So while you are a graduate student, while you have more time, I mean, I know it's already crazy, like we study so much in the time, right? Not really, because we're a graduate student. But time in the sense of you can take credits and that can count toward your degree. Just stuff in programming, don't be intimidated. I used to be, it's computer science. Maybe I need to do, I don't know. I don't have a strictly math background, so I'm not gonna be fitted to take these classes. No, not at all. I actually discovered that I'm quite, capable and really doing well and have progressed a lot. And so I take the opportunity, take classes, and I don't know, get involved and get some data sets and play with it. Have fun. There's a lot of data sets available, public. And the University of Michigan, I think, has a database with a lot of available, but like even the government, big public data sets that you can use to learn this stuff, download, join tables, clean up data, make sense to some exploratory data analysis. And it's actually not as complicated as it sounds. And as a PhD student, I know I'm certainly have all the skills to do it and grow. I was actually talking about my dissertation yesterday. It's funny, and not at all, with somebody from marketing I was talking to, and we were exchanging ideas, and I was talking about what I had done. I had run some experiments, and I did political advertising at the time. Things were actually quite different. So it has informed me. I mean, it has given me the skills to build upon. So even though I haven't continued that research program and I haven't published in that line, of inquiry, it has provided me with a baseline, a foundation. I mean, I still run experiments. I still set them up and run statistical analysis, t-test, chi-square, ANOVA, all, things that I used that in my dissertation. So, and to also be more honest, straightforward about it is it's not the end all be all. It's just not, right? It can be great if you're gonna become you're on that path of becoming a researcher and grow, and your research agenda, it's part of the dissertation, and you're going to publish more in that area. But if it doesn't work out that way, and if you don't want it to work out that way, it's fine too. Especially because we are in advertising, which is a very practice-oriented field. And the theories can help too. So what you're learning is so valuable in that people who are more strictly their education focused on practice may not sometimes have that wealth of knowledge that you possess as an advertising PhD because you're learning so many theories, and you know how things don't operate just one way. There are many ways to dice, right, and to make sense out of information and draw meaning. So just the other day I was thinking about the classic AIDA model, and then thinking about elaboration likelihood model, and thinking, wow, they're still thinking in AIDA terms, and this is so like pretty basic, right? And I'm just sort of people who are not like, it's like awareness, right? Interest, desire, action, like a very like linear, very rational based kind of model of decision making or persuasion. And we talk about that in advertising and how there are other ways, to actually make a movement toward liking or buying a brand or something, or like more low involvement stuff. And sometimes a practitioner, they don't have that depth. And so your dissertation, your research, the things you learn as a PhD are important and are going to help you, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this traditional path.